I'm KurtSchemers. Every day, fortunes are gained and lost in the financial markets. News, trends, and even geopolitical events shape your financial landscape. Join me and my expert guests right now on Traders Nation. You are tuned in to Traders Nation. Thanks for making us a part of your day. I tell you what, Don and I have got a packed show for you today. Richard Cella, he's going to be with us today. He book authored Your Personal Retirement Machine. We're going to be talking about the huge tax bill, what it means to businesses and for the folks on the street, so you can build your personal retirement machine. Plus, GDP numbers back-to-back are looking phenomenal. We're going to be talking with Richard about that. Plus, Don and I have got a great stock list for you. All right, stocks, news, Bitcoin, what is going on out there? All that and a lot more. Stay tuned right here to Traders Nation. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Willie Nelson. You're tuned in to Traders Nation.
Welcome back. You are tuned in to Traders Nation. All right, so Don, I tell you what, we got a packed show. GBTC, let's start off with that, and then I want to go on to some gaming stuff because gaming almost seems a little bit safer, doesn't it? GBTC, Bitcoin investment, currently trading at $2,025, down again today by $343, Don, all right, in today's trading session.
This Bitcoin trust, this is another example of not being for the faint of heart. This particular ETF or Bitcoin trust, whatever you want to call it,
sure.
The structure of it leaves a little bit to be desired, but in any event, it's having a big slide over the past 3 days. This has actually lost about 40% of its value.
Yeah.
So this is a real problem.
Yeah. Let's break that down into numbers. So several days ago, this thing was trading at a high of $3,523, right? Today, $2,025. Yes. So like you said, we're looking at a $1,498 haircut.
Yeah.
Not for the faint of heart.
This is a problem. Trading in here down right now, and it is just being pounded. I mean, look, Bitcoin is trading down today. Again, it's trading at around 15,900,
sure.
And so it's reflected over here in this investment trust. And obviously, for those viewers out there that are following this, if you want to try to get into a Bitcoin investment, obviously this is a little bit safer, but it is volatile. We're down 13% today, and it looks like it's still selling off down here. It's down $322 right now.
Yeah.
And this is not for the faint of heart. You got to be very, very careful. And on other news, I'm sure we've all seen this Long Island Tea Company has changed its name to Long Island Bitcoin, and the stock went up 500%.
Oh, wow.
This morning. So, but you got to stay away from stuff like that. That symbol, by the way, is LT. It's a $6 stock, $7 stock now, but it shows you the volatility in these Bitcoin manias that are going on right now.
Yeah, I can't overemphasize, and really, I'm like pounding the table on this, is that people are chasing Bitcoin. The gains are phenomenal, but by the time you hear about the gains, they've already happened, right? So don't be chasing this stuff. If you want to watch this Bitcoin stuff and all, fine, right? That's probably your safest bet. But I tell you, unless you got money that you can just waste, unless you got money you can just throw away, if you lose it, you're still gonna make your mortgage payment. Your kid's education's gonna get paid, right, Don? I mean, all these things. This is money that you would normally spend on pizza for the next year. This is money that you're just gonna throw away. If you make it, great. If you don't eat pizza either. All right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm gonna say about that. I mean, it's fun to watch, but God, I tell you, Don, this GBTC alone, Don, in 3 trading sessions down $1,498. That's huge.
Well, yeah, and look, we've seen this before in some of these internet stocks years ago, and some other stocks.
Yeah.
But the fact that this stock has lost 40% of its value is troublesome, and
sure.
You gotta be in for the long term. Blockchain technology is going to be around, but Mother of Mercy, this is
Mother.
down 40% in 3 days. That's a big haircut. And by the way, the other Bitcoin stocks are getting creamed as well.
Yeah. So bottom line is look out below, okay? And we've mentioned that over the years. I think, I'm just, for right now, caution, keep an eye on stuff, watch it and all. This is as good as a good football game by watching it, okay? You don't have to participate in it. You can get some excitement out of that. I think once Bitcoin and all this evolves and all the dust-ups stop around Bitcoin, I think then you may want to look for some stability in particular issues, and we'll see what happens from there. Don?
That is correct. You got to be careful with Bitcoin. But, they're all being pounded today.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they certainly are. All right, Las Vegas Sands is where we want to go next. A little bit safer is in gambling area, if you will, right?
Yes. Well, the Las Vegas Sands trading in here around $70.50 right now, down 37 cents on the day. Las Vegas Sands, a gambling stock. Obviously, these are much more mature companies. We have Las Vegas Sands in this sector. You have WYNN. WYNN, WYNN Gaming, and a bunch of others. Among them is I think you and I were talking about Caesars. You got to be a little bit careful with Caesars. This company has had a bankruptcy recently, and a tremendous amount of debt with that company. Some of the safer ones, in my opinion, on this in this section, you have Las Vegas Sands, Wynn Resorts, MGM. And then, of course, we talked the other day about PENN, P-E-N-N is the symbol on that one. That stock has actually doubled over the past year. And it could go further. They made a acquisition the other day. They're acquiring another gaming stock, publicly traded, a company called Pinnacle, which has a lot of holdings there in Vegas. But PENN Gaming is trading in here at around $30 today. Yeah. And they're in the process of making that acquisition. So not a bad place to be. A little cheaper stock at $30.89. And then lastly today in the gaming stocks, we have another small acquisition. Boyd Gaming is making a small acquisition. BYD is the symbol on that. And BYD is actually buying a company out here in the east that controls a racetrack over in Valley Forge, and it is a betting casino now. Small deal for Boyd, but it's going to enter them into the Pennsylvania market. Boyd is trading in here $35.24. Very mature company. They've been around a long, long time, Boyd Gaming.
Okay. All right, Boyd Gaming. And so let's talk about Penn real quick, and I want to hit some numbers on Las Vegas Sands and Wynn. But Penn National Gaming is a company, and it's not well known, is it? It's out of Pennsylvania, and it's an operator of casinos and racetracks in Wyomissing. I never heard of Wyomissing. What is a Wyomissing, Pennsylvania?
Well,
is it even on the map?
Yeah, that's actually the Reading, Pennsylvania area. And Penn Gaming has been around for quite a while. I've been following the company the better part of probably 5 years. I don't own the stock. But they've made a number of acquisitions. It's a very, very well-run company. I've watched a few presentations they've made over the years. And they're very selective on the markets that they enter. And when they do enter a market, it's they know how to. They're operators. They're true operators of the business. So they're going to make this acquisition to buy Pinnacle for almost $3 billion, taking that asset away. And then Boyd Gaming. There's also a small acquisition they're making from. I'm sorry, it's reversed. Boyd on the Pinnacle acquisition is buying about $300 million worth of assets. So not a bad sector to keep your eye on.
All right, so and also just for the numbers, folks, Penn operating 26 facilities in 18 states and manages one casino in Canada. All right, so that's Penn. If you haven't heard of them, now you have. All right.
P-E-N-N is the symbol on that. Penn Gaming.
Take a look at it. $30.73 currently trading at about 171,000 shares exchanging hands today on Penn, certainly. Okay, and average volume is about 1 million. That's respectable, Don. Let's move on to Las Vegas Sands, LVS, and that's Larry Victor Sam. Las Vegas Sands in Vegas certainly currently trading around $70.66. 484,000 shares exchanging hands today on that one. 2.7 million shares is the average volume. Still humming away here today. Like many stocks, we've seen impressive gains for the years. Las Vegas Sands is one of them. Bring it up on your charts. And in fact, this stock was around $100 just back in March, at the beginning of the year. A lot of stocks were doing that, okay? We're out of time for this segment. Coming up next, Richard Cella is going to be with us. We're going to be talking about your personal retirement machine, okay? And what it means to you and how you can fine-tune that retirement machine. You're not going to want to miss that. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Steve Forbes, and you're watching Traders Nation.
Welcome back. You are tuned in to Traders Nation. My pleasure to have with us here today Richard Cella, book author of Your Personal Retirement Machine. Richard, welcome to Traders Nation. How are you today?
I'm doing great, and thanks for having me, Kurt.
Sure, Richard. My pleasure. All right, it's a huge story of the day, tax bill. It gets passed. What does this mean for businesses and for the folks in the street?
Well, at the end of the day, it's going to mean greater profits for businesses because they very simply put, they don't have to pay as much of that profit and revenue in taxes.
Sure.
The hope is that they turn around and use that money to reinvest in infrastructure and paying people higher salaries.
Sure. One thing that we're already seeing, and some companies have announced, and I imagine it's to wait to be seen as if it got that follow through. But $1,000 bonuses are coming out. Companies have raised their minimum for that particular company up to $15 an hour. So we should see some consumer spending. See some of these folks getting that right directly to their pockets, shouldn't we?
Well, that would be great.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about something else. So GDP numbers back to back, Richard. We saw the numbers for third and fourth quarter back to back, very positive, very solid as we close out this year. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think the economic indicators across the board are very strong, and that gives us confidence in the stock market, and we're advising people accordingly.
Yeah.
I think what you're seeing is a buildup in inventories. Corporate America is anticipating continued increases in demand across the board.
Yeah.
And so they're investing in building their inventory. They're investing in more and more capital equipment.
Sure.
And that's really been one of the keys to seeing a second consecutive quarter of 3% plus GDP growth. That's the first time we've seen that, by the way, since 2014. A very healthy sign.
Sure. All right. And do you expect, especially with the tax bill getting passed, do you expect GDP to continue to remain solid as we come into 2018? What are your thoughts?
I do. I very much so. I mean, I think that you'll see a combination of two things. GDP is going to be propped up by additional capital expenditures. But also keep in mind that 70% of GDP is consumer spending. And if, in fact, wages increase and people are getting paid more and our employment rates continue to decline, unemployment continues to decline,
sure,
then we'll see greater and greater consumer spending. That consumer spending combined with greater capital expenditures by corporate America will boost GDP even more. So I do see a very healthy gross domestic product numbers throughout 2018.
Yeah, consumer spending is really important. Like you said, it's a nice percentage of what the GDP is. Do you feel? And I don't know. I mean, this is kind of what my sense is. It's not nothing that I have that's solid, but we kind of were in like a government spending period for the last administration. Kind of got away from consumer spending. I know consumers were out there, but boy, they certainly were holding on to their money as tight as possible with the uncertainty that was out there. Do you feel that with the optimism that's in the air, Richard, do you feel that folks will start letting a little bit more of that money go? We're going to see the consumer spending going to pick up a little bit more, especially if we start seeing more money in our pockets starting around February 1st of 18.
I absolutely do. There's actually two parts to that, and I think that you bring up a good point, Kurt.
Yeah.
So one of the factors is simply put, if people have more money in their pocket, then they're maybe more willing to spend it. More importantly, if unemployment is low and the labor market is tighter, then people are going to have more confidence in their job, and employers are going to be more appreciative of their employees, providing more benefits, more bonuses, more income. All of those things lead to greater consumer spending.
Sure.
I'll tell you another thing to keep in the back of your mind. The strength in the stock market actually boosts consumer spending. When people know they've got money in the bank and that their 401k account is growing and their retirement nest egg is growing, they feel more comfortable with spending money and
Sure.
making investments in greater expenditures, such as additions on their home or other capital expenditures.
Right. I think that's a great point. I think the underlying key word here, I think it's going to be confidence. Because you usher out uncertainty, and you usher in that confidence, and I think people are going to do that. All right, so let's get to your book, okay? The Personal Retirement Machine. What is the best way to build that machine, Richard?
What is the best way to build your own retirement machine?
Yeah.
It's a combination of two things.
Okay.
Number one, you want to have a clear plan, a financial plan, and you need to follow the plan. You have to have some patience.
Sure.
You have to be able to make a little bit of sacrifice along the way, but consistency is key, and being dedicated to the success of the plan is also key.
Okay. And what about some people like to take on that personal retirement machine. They want to take it on themselves, or should they get help? How does that work? Is it all on personal preference, or some people don't have the time to manage their own portfolios? Your thoughts?
My thoughts are I'm a big believer in financial planners. If they're a true financial planner and
Sure.
they provide a good quality service, that they're worth every penny that they may charge in terms of investment management fees, etc.
Yeah.
I think too many people try to wing it, and too many times people just fail to have the right plan.
Right.
So my feeling is, if you don't have a plan, then you have no way of gauging how successful you are. You have no track to run on.
Sure.
You have nothing that's really guiding you. So with a financial plan in place, and having then the commitment to following that plan, even though there are maybe times when you might like to gratify yourself financially and spend the money now instead of saving it for later. I think those are the two fundamental elements. Now, in the book, we get into some things that help people feel better about retirement planning.
Sure.
We give them analogies and change the way they think, so that by doing that, you can feel positive about building your financial future.
Sure. And for an example, I see where you put a certain amount away. It's a chart. I'm looking at it right now, and I'm showing our audience. So there's a chart. You put a certain amount away. Compounding interest certainly, and compounding investment certainly is the magic to some of this, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I talk a lot about time being your ally,
Yeah.
or time being your enemy. If you don't use it, if you don't take advantage of time, then that only hurts you in finances, whether it's retirement planning or any financial goal.
Yeah.
Time is your ally. And some of the analogies, like the earliest dollars saved are the most valuable retirement income producers, it's because you need the compounding effect
Yeah.
to help you build wealth.
I got to tell you, compounding, it's such a magical thing. And if it's money, if you simply put money away, and you start early, but even though it's never too late, always put money away, but start early, put money away that you don't, that you won't miss and that you won't be hurt by, right? And then put it away, and in time, that compound interest and that compounding overall really is going to pay off. Before you know it, really starts working like magic, doesn't it?
It does. And, it can be daunting because you do need to build wealth to
Yeah.
be successful in retirement planning.
There you have it.
But
All
I
right.
tell people,
Yeah.
if you could put $2,000 away
Yeah.
and turn it into $100,000
Yeah.
over 30 years, would you be interested?
All right, we're out of time. Where can we get a copy of Your Personal Retirement Machine today? Amazon?
Visit us at ipswichfinancial.com.
Head on over there today. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Traders Nation. Thanks for staying with us. Okay, once again, we do appreciate Richard Cella being with us here today. Your personal retirement machine. Head on over to Amazon or your favorite bookstore. Get a copy today. Great book. Again, it's got a bunch of charts and stuff in there, and it'll help you get a visualization of where your retirement machine could go. All right? Hey, Don, let's go ahead and move on to Charter Communications. What's going on there?
Charter Communications is the company that acquired TWC, Time Warner Cable.
Yeah.
And that was a huge acquisition, actually a minnow swallowing the whale, in that Charter was a much smaller company. But this is a John Malone company of Liberty Media.
Okay.
Stock is up almost $13 today, and this stock is off a high of about $408, so it's taken a haircut.
Yeah.
And this is potentially an acquisition target by a French company called Altice. They could also get together with SoftBank, the large Japanese technology company.
Okay.
But I can tell you that John Malone and his people are very, very good operators. They haven't paid too much attention to the stock here over the past several months, but stock's making a significant run today.
All right, Charter, CHTR. We're out of time. Don, you own anything we talked about today?
No.
Yeah, me neither. I don't own anything. These are not buy-sell recommendations. We appreciate you tuning in to Traders Nation. We'll see you on the next edition.